Hi guys, so went in to get a beer. This is a homemade called the Haystack. It's a session saison, about 4% ABV. I have been brewing a lot of low ABV beers and trying to learn how to brew great tasting beers without too much alcohol in them. No, with some. So let's crack this one open. So here's the Haystack. It was a quite simple grain bill. I used Galaxy and Cascade hops in the brew, and then I dry hop this with Ella hops. It's nice and refreshing. So I thought we should talk a little bit about yeast. I just watched Hapless drinking one of my beers. So I want to do a shout out to Hapless. Thank you for the great review. I'm going to put a link down here so you can see him drinking that beer. That beer was from a video I made about yeast harvesting, and I will link to that one below as well. And this is a message to Hapless. I think the reason you got a bad head on that beer was due to an Hapless choice of glass, and of course a Hapless pour. Cheers, mate. I think if you had used a glass with a flat bottom, you would have gotten a much better head. If you watch me pour that beer into another style of glass in the original video, in the end you see I got quite a head on that beer, and they were bottled under the same conditions from the keg. So thank you Hapless for the review. I hope you enjoy the other one as well, the Dunkel. So let's talk a little about yeast. First off, let's dedicate a little section to you who like to reuse your yeast, like I do. Stop washing your yeast. If you really want to reuse a yeast from the fermenter, then just put it in a sanitized container and use it the next time. You don't have to wash it. And better off, do like I do. Save some of the starter, make a bigger starter and save some of the starter to make the new starter next time. The yeast, then you don't have to use yeast that have been through the big fermentation with the hops and the maybe stronger wort and so on. If you look at the video I was talking to earlier, from bottle to bottle, about yeast harvesting, you see when I've fermented out my starter, I just pour some aside and save for a later brew. So stop harvesting from a fermenter if you don't have to. Harvest from your starter for your next starter. And then you can have some small containers in your fridge with different kind of yeasts. That's what I do, and it works very good for me. Another thing about yeast I would like to talk about is its pitch rate. On forums and in other brew videos, some people talk about over pitching when they're using 2 packs of 6 grams of Cooper's yeast on an 23 5-gallon batch. That's still under pitching. The only circumstances you are over pitching is in a homebrew environment is when you do back-to-back brews. I haven't actually heard of anyone having a problem with overpitching. So underpitching, though, is what many people are doing. Just using 1 packs of USO5 or what you use instead of 2. Yes, you can ferment. Yes, you can ferment out beer with just a few cells, but it's, in my opinion, makes a better result with not underpitching. There are yeast calculators online or in your brewing software. Use them and see how much yeast you should actually be using. And I tend to use more than suggested on every brew, and that works great for me. So that was a little rambling about yeast. Fermenting right now, I have my first lager ever. It's cold crashing right now. It's about 5.1 ABV. I used a little more complex grain bill than a simple lager. So it's more like an Oktoberfest, but I wouldn't call it that, because we can call it Septemberfest instead. And I also have a low ABV American Pale Ale, which is waiting to be dry hopped, then cold crushed. And of course I have the ginger bug beer that's still on hold. I'm letting it be for a few months, suggested by Don ABA. So happy homebrew weekend. Cheers, and thanks again, Hapless, for the great review. Dr. Hans out.